One thing I'm very interested in this life is the aspect of growth, moving from one step to the next, moving from glory to glory, moving from being a girl to a young lady to a woman to a mother, and the book that we're going to be discussing today is called Unleashing Her Potential by Fortunate Kufakunesu. And I'm joined in the studio by Audrey Chirenje. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Marisa. How are you today?
Very good, thank you. You're looking lovely in black.
Thank you.
I'm always going to say something about your fashion sense. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, we are discussing this book, Unleashing Her Potential, guiding a girl into an empowered woman, which is something that I stand for. I'm very big on that. I know I used to mentor a lot of young girls. So just watching them moving and growing and being able to be mature young adults is absolutely incredible. And we have this book, and the cover, if you can show maybe the cover, it's showing a picture of a caterpillar. Well, first it's a cocoon, and then it's a caterpillar, and after the caterpillar it's a butterfly. So this is a process of evolution.
Yes.
Let's briefly discuss that.
And some will call it the metamorphosis. So as you rightly pointed, the cover depicts that. But also just looking at that, meaning it can speak to anything in your life, how you transform from one version of yourself to the other version. And this is Fortunate's second book. The first book was called A Woman in Pursuit of a Purposeful Destiny. Wow. So she is all about the girl child, about women. And in the first book, she talks about a story. And it makes sense when you then hear it, because she says she was raised by a blind teenage mom.
Oh, wow.
In the rural areas of Chihuahua. And from a young age of like 5, 6, she was already doing chores around the house. So she walked that journey. And then when she was now in high school, they got a couple who then sort of adopted her and brought her to Harare and then paid her fees, paid her tertiary education. So every time she always speaks that she had people helping her. That's why she's very passionate about
in
girls.
Helping other people.
100%.
And not just pinpointing one person, but putting it in the form of a book.
Yes.
So that it can touch the masses. That's incredible. Tell us a little bit more about her. I know you've just told us her story, but who is Fortunate?
Okay, Fortunate wears so many hats. She's a wife, she's a mother to 4 kids, she's a pastor, certified life coach, marriage and family counselor, therapist, teacher, and a first aider with St. John's Ambulance. She's the founder and executive director of Lily of Valleys Home of Hope, and also a registered NGO. And like I was saying earlier, she walks the walk. Even when you meet her, very humble, very down to earth.
Yeah.
Always about empowering the next person.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that walking the talk. Walking the talk. Some people will write it and then they live a life that's totally contrary to what they're writing, just so they can go out there and write a book or a book. But I love what you're saying about walking the talk. And maybe let's discuss the points in her book. What points does she touch on?
Okay, she talks about, she's writing to the girl child, obviously, and the women. And even in her speech, she even talks about also embracing the boys, because I know that sometimes people then feel that the boys are also left out.
Yeah.
But we just need to protect our children. So she says this is a manual handbook that everyone must then, read and adopt. Number 1, she talks about self-discovery.
Yeah.
She talks about resilience and overcoming challenges. Like I pointed out in her story, everyone has their own unique, different story.
Yeah.
So I know every time when you're looking at yourself, you just think you're the only one. But trust me, everyone has a unique, different story. She talks about goal setting and gives practical advice. Building positive relationships. We always talk about this, Marisa. We see this Marisa here. She's the sum total of the positive relationships around her.
Yeah.
And then we talk about empowerment through self-understanding and encouraging young girls to engage in self-reflection, to identify their passions and strengths. I'm so much about this point because I know that people always want to make sure we follow the same path, but we can't.
We can't do that.
Because we're uniquely and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
So we all have our unique strengths, passions, and so forth. And then she talks about acceptance of diversity and individuality, which is more or less the same point, and mindfulness and emotional intelligence.
Wow, just going back to the point that you like, empowerment through self-understanding. It's very important to understand yourself, to understand the character and the person that you are. And I do know that a lot of people don't take time to understand themselves, number one, and to understand the person. If I don't understand you, I'm going to walk all over you, or just, because you're a quiet lady, you just smile at everybody and stuff, but you're a powerhouse in yourself. Now, if I don't learn how to understand you, that's going to be disastrous. And most young people, I'm not even just going to narrow it down to girls, most young people have no understanding of themselves, and they grow up like their parents because they're just watching. How are us as parents supposed to help our children in that?
I think this book is also for the parents because, like you rightly say, some parents will even try to live their lives through their children.
That's it.
They would have failed in their own journeys. I've always laughed at, I know we've got results coming out last week and maybe this week. You hear of a parent saying, I'm always joking, and see, yeah, so let the children be. And I think we always talk about, it's not just about academics. There's also extracurricular activities. Yeah. Some children are singers, you're a singer, but you've got so many other hats. Some children love soccer. Yeah. Some people are making a living through soccer and sports and swimming and all sorts. So as a parent, you need to actually identify the talents in your children, but I know, like in this modern world, people are just too busy to even do this.
Yeah,
yes,
that's very true. I'm just opening this book on chapter 7, and it's saying embracing education and lifelong learning. So I remember one of the conversations that I used to have with my son about furthering your education, going to school. He's like, Mom, this world, you don't even need to go to school. I'm going to be wasting 4 years of my life. I could be working. I could be this and that and the other. What does she touch on when she's talking about embracing education? Mind you, he is in school now still, and he's seeing the value of really expanding himself. But what does she touch on in this aspect of education?
Education is very important. We always talk about it, and she talks about it as well. And you need to embrace it. And then there's also the lifelong learning. So I know one pastor was talking about, how you can go to tertiary and get a degree, but these days there's online courses, there's YouTube. Teach yourself a new skill.
Every single time.
Yes, you can teach yourself to bake, to cooking and all sorts of things. Just something new that you can then use in your own life.
Yeah, and I guess that also puts a smile on your face because you can celebrate the small victories that you can actually achieve through doing that.
Yes.
Audrey, we don't have much time, but where do we get this book?
Okay, this book is available on Amazon, and then they have an office in Chatcom, and they can arrange for a delivery. So she's on social media using her company name, Lilo Valley's Home of Hope, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So you can find her, Fortunate Kufakunesu, and then she will arrange for a delivery wherever you are.
Wow, that is absolutely fantastic. And I'm just going to quickly read the quote of her book. It says, empowerment begins with the courage to discover true self, embrace your strengths, overcome your challenges, and step confidently into the future you envision. Sounds like a very good, captivating book as well. So there we have it. It's $10.
$10, but there's a promotion. She's saying for the girls, she will just give them at $5.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's incredible. $5.
Yes.
And how long is her promotion running for?
Doesn't say, but I know it's been running ever since she launched the book last year.
Is it?
In September, yes.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Fortunate Kufakunesu, for writing this wonderful manual to equip our young ladies to turn into beautiful, empowered women.
Konapo, ipapo, ba ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294, the place to be.